This too. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to LinkedIn Live with Vivica. We are on Restream today. We're trying different channels today, so we are on Restream. With me is Miss Debra Eckerling, who is the author of, turn it right side up, Your Goal Guide. Let's see, and hopefully you can see it. It's mirrored correctly. And we're going to get to this in just a minute. So be thinking about questions that you want to ask Debra. Hopefully, I am showing up live in the different channels. We'll see, right? We'll see. So let me know in chat if we are showing up on those different channels. Bernie, if you are on the call today, text me and let me know that we're showing up. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into LinkedIn. And I know there were some questions that I want to get to first. Here we go. I know there's a delay of a couple minutes, so I'm just going to blab for another moment or two until everything's showing up. May or may not be showing up live. Okay, so again, my name is Vivica Von Rosen. I am the Chief Visibility Officer with Vengresso, and with us today is our special guest, Miss Debra Eckerling, who has written this amazing book, Your Goal Guide. And so, there goes my dog. So my dog, no. If you have any questions, make sure to pop them into whatever chat you're on. Also in the background is Bernie Borges. He is our CMO, and he is going to hopefully be monitoring the chat and sending me texts just in case it's not going to show up on Restream. So we'll take a look. I'm still not seeing us being live on LinkedIn, but hey, we'll check it out. Okay, so before I get started with Miss Debra, and I'm just going to take you off air so you don't have to smile and just sit there for 5 minutes or so. There were some really excellent questions that we got. So again, if you want to ask us any questions that we'll answer in the next live, just simply go to vengresolive.com, vengresolive.com. I think I can pop that in here, vengresolive.com, add caption, good to go. Let's show it. There we are. Okay, there we are. So you can go to vengresolive.com and ask any questions. I thought we had the whole how do you register for LinkedIn Live figured out when we had LinkedIn events linked with LinkedIn Live, but then we found out last week, which kind of was too bad for Andy. But we found out last week that if you link LinkedIn Live to LinkedIn events, it will only notify people who have registered. So everyone else was like, where was your live? I was on your stream. I didn't see your live. Where are you? So that was a little bit unfortunate. And apparently LinkedIn is not working either. There's no notification of my live. That's awesome. We are doing LinkedIn Live with no LinkedIn. Bernie, if you can hear me, will you check Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope? We should be live on all of those as well. So, bummeroo. LinkedIn Live with no LinkedIn. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so let me go ahead and answer some of these questions for you, and then we're going to bring Debra on. So one question was, how do you define social selling? And Debra, later on, if you want to answer this question, you can too. For me, social selling is really just about sharing, having the right brand, sharing the right content, so that you can create more conversations on LinkedIn or whatever social you're on. So it's really about creating the right brand and the right content to create those conversations, because you don't want to sell. I mean, being a selly seller, especially right now, is a huge turnoff, I think, to everybody. So for me, it's just make sure you've got the brand, an updated brand to who you are now during this disruption, and make sure you're sharing the right content, blog posts, updates, videos, whatever that looks like, so that people can then see that content and start engaging on that content, which positions you as a thought leader, but it also allows you to engage with people you might not be connected to. And that leads to the natural next step of then asking for the connection and continuing the conversation in private which, if you're doing the right thing, will hopefully lead to a sales conversation. But for me, social selling is really just about having the right brand and creating conversations on LinkedIn. So thank you, Mark Dooner. That was an excellent question. We started talking about LinkedIn 5 weeks ago or so, and we never even, hi, hello again. He wants to play. Nope, not right now. So we never really talked about what social selling was. So thank you, Mark, for that most excellent question. Our next question is from Melinda Harrell, and she says, what is the right time to approach new prospective clients given our current climate rather? It's everything is new and nothing is new. Everything has disrupted us, like my dog is disrupting me right now. But we still need to continue on as we always have, if that means having conversations with people, okay, here you go get it, having real life conversations with people, and not being like a selly salesperson. So basically what I just said, Melinda, that is what I would recommend, is just continue to have conversations with individuals, but you want to do it after you engage with them in some way. Whether it's, you're fortunate enough that they're sharing content on LinkedIn and you can jump in and engage with them on that content, or if it's just a matter of getting an introduction to someone, but you don't want to reach out to someone you don't know just out of the blue and say, hey, buy my stuff. And I know you wouldn't do that. No one on this live, if anyone's on this live, would do that. But, I think all of us have seen that already. So that's a pain in the rear end. It looks like Periscope is working and Facebook is working. All right, cool. Hey, Alfred, sorry. And hey, David. All right. So good question, Melinda. And I think this, Catherine asked a similar question. And so when you reach out to someone on LinkedIn, I think you should always personalize the invitation. Now, some other LinkedIn people say, I get better responses when I don't personalize the invitation. I think it matters what's in the invitation. So if you have, hey, want to buy my stuff, or hey, we have a bunch of people in common, why there's no reason at all why I would want to connect with you. But if you've taken the time to comment on my content already, if you've taken the time to, get an introduction, or if you've taken the time to read through your prospect's profile and pull out some real genuine, facts that you can bring in the invitation, then I think you should always customize your invitation. And you can do it on mobile too by clicking on the 3 dots or the more. So if someone just has follow, or if you hit invite on mobile and you're like, I forgot to customize it, just click on the 3 dots or on more, and that will show up. Yep, apparently I am only on Facebook and Periscope today. Go figure. All right. I'll get the recording into LinkedIn later. All right. Hopefully, Catherine, that answered your question. Nicole, similar question. When is prospecting going to be acceptable again? It always is, but don't think of it as hard, cold prospecting, dialing for dollars. It's about creating those conversations. And let me see. I think there was a couple more. What do you think about LinkedIn bots and messages to second and third level connections? I hate them. I think they're sleazy. I think automation sucks, and LinkedIn thinks so too. LinkedIn will actually restrict your account if it expects you are using automation tools. I would never recommend automation tools for LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn has its own bots. You can click on those responses, but I would mostly say not a fan. And then there's a question, should I pay for LinkedIn? Yes, and let's talk about that on another day, because I want to bring back my special guest today, Miss Debra Eckerling. Excuse me. And I'm going to have to bring you back again. Come on. I'm going to have to bring you back on again. Hello. Hi. So,
I'm so happy to be here. I mean, even with the crazy, any day I get to talk to you on camera is a good day.
Well, I'm glad you're here too. And we'll just have you on again. We'll do another LinkedIn at some other point. Maybe we'll go back to StreamYard. Okay, so you wrote this amazing book. Tell us a little bit about why write a book about your goals?
Well, gee, how much time do we have?
Well, 24 minutes apparently.
Okay then. Well, I wrote the book. Well, I try to make this story as short as possible because it could be a really long story. But the bottom line of it is I love goals. I fell into this niche years ago when I did events for Barnes & Noble, and someone walked in and said, will you start a writer support group? And I said, if you think people will show up, always be open to opportunities. Who knew that many years later, this would be my career, and I'm so incredibly blessed. But that's how it started. And for me, a writer support group was about, okay, what are you going to accomplish? What did you accomplish? What are you going to do next time? And so that just really evolved into what I do now. I moved to LA. People started asking me to coach them. And this is actually my third book, but my first one that I traditionally published. And a little over 2 years ago, I went through this phase. One of my clients was going away, and I said, okay, this is an omen to go all in on the goal coaching. So I rebranded myself as the Deb Method, which I'm sure we'll also talk about.
Yes.
And I was planning to self-publish, and then I met an agent, and he said, let me try and sell it. And he did, and it came, and it wasn't a very long process because I wrote the version that I was going to self-publish like just over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was sent out to agents spring, and then in fall of 2018, Mango, Brenda Knight, saw it, sent an email, let's talk, and here we go. And it came out in January. And to answer your actual question, other than I love goals, everybody needs them.
Yeah.
I mean, this book came out in January, and did we really know 2 months later everybody was going to have to rethink their life?
I know. Well, I was just going to say that, like, there couldn't be a better time because so many people found themselves with time on their hands. Some people transitioned out of their business, furloughed, looking for jobs, and, no better time to go, okay, well, what do I really want to do when I grow up? What do I really want my life to be? Or you had a lot of people who were happy in the day to day and, getting paid and making enough money. And then COVID hit and they got stuck at home with their life. Well, yeah, got stuck at home with their life and wife and husband and dog and kids and whatever. And they're like, there's got to be more than this. And so I think personally, it's a perfect time for a book like yours because people are thinking, okay, what's next? And of course, what is the best way to achieve what's next is by setting goals. So let's talk a little bit about the Deb Method. And Bernie, if whatever lives you've managed to get on, if you can share the links to Deb's book, that would be great. But yeah, can you tell us a little bit, Deb, about what the Deb Method is? It's not just your name.
It is not just my name, but wasn't it convenient that my name and my system that I've been doing for years and years, it really came together. And I was actually leading a workshop yesterday with someone who took my course maybe 5 years ago before I even called it the Deb Method. And it's the same system.
Yeah.
So how cool is that? And the thing that I love about my book, and I love my book, you know this, is most goal-setting books tell you how to achieve goals. Mine really gets into the nitty-gritty. It forces yourself to take a look at what you want, what you love, and what will make you happy, because you should be happy. If you're not happy in all of your life, at least you should be happy in some of it. You have a little bit of, control, right?
Yeah.
And so the way it's set up is the first half of the book takes readers through the Deb Method. I know, drum roll please, I'm actually going to say what this is now, which will help you figure out what you want and how to get it. So the D stands for determine your mission. So before you can get what you want, you need to know what you want. And this...
Go ahead. I'm just in the background. No, keep going.
I don't know. I don't know how detailed you want me to get, but I'll spend a couple more
Yeah.
minutes, a couple minutes on each letter, and then if we need to backtrack, we can. So, determine your mission starts with visualization. When you think about the life you want, living Goaltopia, there wasn't a word that described living your perfect life,
Right.
achieving the goals you want. So, I created one. So you start with that visualization, really meditate, whatever meditation means for you. Brainstorm, doodle, whatever, and just see yourself in that life. Then
I think that's key, is actually seeing yourself in that life. Like, not just, you don't want your goal to be out here where you can't reach it, right? You want to actually be able to see, smell, touch, feel what that life is going to be like. And whether that's meditation or journaling, whatever takes you there. And I'm sure you have some suggestions in your book, but goals, even if you don't think you can attain them, you still want to visualize them to the depth that you can like taste them. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are completely right. And once you kind of get a handle on that, if you're an artist, draw something.
Yep.
If you are not, which is me,
yeah,
you can copy paste, or in my case, I printed something. I printed out New York Times bestseller list and wrote my name on the top.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that.
And whatever it is, it used to be, you print out a picture of you speaking to a sold out crowd.
Right.
Maybe now you're speaking to like a Zoom of like 500 people.
5,000 people. Think big. Oh, wait. I don't know if 5,000 people can be on Zoom. Never mind. I take that back.
I think there's like a 500 person, whatever. No limit.
Sorry. No limit.
No limit. But whatever it is that you think that you want, or if you want to create a product, it's online. You put it in an online store or a real store, because we will have those, or we kind of do again.
Yes.
Or if you want to create a business, mock up what it's going to look like, what your product is, what it means to you for success. And it could just be, living happy, the life you want, etc. And that could be enough. I mean, you should be happy. We're just getting really into the crux of what that happy means for you. Maybe you want to move. Maybe you want to live somewhere else. I should also add that, so the book, Your Goal Guide, a roadmap for setting, planning, and achieving your goals, it is set up like a road trip.
I love that, by the way. I love that. Because that's so visceral,
It really is, but that's what life is, right? It's a road trip.
It is. Oops. I'm trying to figure out where my camera is. Yeah, like literally keep a trip log, right? Calendar. Yeah, I love it. I love that.
So you need to do all the little groundwork to set up your trip so you can have a successful journey. And yes, we know there's some people who get in the car and drive, and, good for them. But if you really want to get somewhere, you need to know where you're going and what that looks like. Yeah. And then you can plan ahead. But we're totally off track, so I want to rein you in a little bit.
Okay.
So you start with the visualization, create the thing that you can look at and say, oh, this is what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
You want to write your current bio, because you need to know where you are, and then your future bio, where you want to go.
Yeah.
You can see what you have, what you need, where you want to be.
Yep.
And then comes the mission statement, because this is your compass.
Yeah.
This is going to help you figure out what direction you should stay in when you're going from here to there.
Exactly.
So if you want, I'll just use me as an example. My mission is to help as many people as possible define, plan, and achieve their goals. It's a little longer. That's the short, long version. But it's who I am. It's what I love. And the key is to help people. When you're creating your mission statement, you really want not just how it helps you, but how you help others,
Yeah.
because that's the
That's
drive. That is the power.
exactly, because I think, when we're younger, we're like, oh, my goal is to have a big house and a nice car and, handsome, the prince, the palace, and I forget what the third P was, but, but you get to a certain age and you're like, okay, I got the house, I got the husband, okay, I still have a shitty car. I mean, not a very great car, but, but I'm still waiting on that Tesla. But, and I'm happy and life is good, but there's something missing. And so I think you're absolutely right. It's the happiness. I mean, I am happy. I'm using myself as an example, but it's the happiness quotient. And for that, to what you just said, it's about giving, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's bring it to Vengresso. I mean, what is the point? You want people to come to you to show you how you can help them.
Right. Exactly.
So the mission statement it's just, what can you do? And it makes you feel good about yourself. And I said before, I did this workshop yesterday, and I was talking to a bunch of journalists, and it's education and entertainment. Those are valid missions.
Yeah.
I want people to learn more about this. I want to entertain people during challenging times. Those are also valid missions. You can just, I don't want to say twist it, but yeah, twist it. What you do, what you love, is a benefit to others. And that's what's really key. You are sharing your expertise, your joy, your personality, your background with other people for a certain reason. So you have your mission statement, and then you go to your motto, because you want your mission in your head at all times. But come on, do I really recite that a lot of times a day? Okay, I'm not going to answer that. Well, I probably do, because I use myself as an example, and I created the Deb Method using the Deb Method.
Right.
And the other thing that I mentioned before, and once I had this focus, once I claimed it, this is my passion, this is the life that I want, things have really fallen into place for me for that journey, right down to the fact that my book came out in January, and in March, all these opportunities to talk about it, to help more people who are stuck at home find something that they can do if they were ready.
Yes.
To move forward, to sort of help motivate and say, it's okay, you're doing great.
Yeah.
So once you have that thing that you love, that's your focal, I mean, you're everything else is easy.
Right.
It's that groundwork to figure out what the thing is. And it can be a little thing. It could be a hobby that brings you joy, aligned with everything else. It could be a side hustle of something that you've always wanted to do. It's really up to you. But once you get to that, so you have your mission and your motto, and my motto is goal setting simplified, and just about everything that I do to do with and me, not just my business, but I think life's challenging enough.
Yeah.
Figuring out your life, the instructions should be really easy.
I love that.
So that's what Determine Your Mission is all about. And once you have that idea, then you jump into E, which is explore your options. Okay, I know I want to be an expert in this. What does that look like? I know I want to start a business. What kind of business? I know I need to change my career. What's it going to be?
Yeah.
So the E is the research phase, and you mentioned journaling before. Mm-hmm. And I think in chapter 1, when I'm talking about the visualization, I say, if you're having a problem, jump to chapter 6 and come back. Yeah. But I say use directed journaling. So this is how it works. You want to schedule 3, 4, 5, 15-minute appointments with yourself, and you're just asking the question, what do I want? Yeah. What does this future look like? And you want to do free writing. Don't overthink anything. Yeah. And don't read your journal entries until you've done it 3, 4, 5 times. Because what's going to happen is you're going to get surprised by it. Yeah. You're going to say, oh, I thought I wanted to do this, but I only mentioned it twice. But this thing that I loved doing when I was a kid, I mentioned this every single day. I mentioned my love of food or travel or sports or whatever. Yeah. Maybe I should explore how I can use that, what I can create with that.
Yes.
So you start with that. I want this life. It could be one of these different things. And then you want to do your research. So figure out what doing any of these things entail. Talk to your connections and connectors, which is why one of the reasons we love LinkedIn is because we all know people who do different things. And occasionally in your tribe, you have people who know everyone.
Yep.
And those are the people you reach. If you're like, okay, I want to start a podcast. Okay, who do I know who's a podcaster? No one. Okay, who do I know who knows someone who is a podcaster? So you want to look in there and then have some conversations to really drill it down.
I think that's so important because a lot of like, oh, I want a castle and I want a prince and I want a, I want a speaking career and I want $1 million. But there's no like, okay, but how are you actually going to achieve that? And to your point, that is one of the reasons I like LinkedIn because you really can connect to almost anybody. And if they're engaged on LinkedIn, even like a Gary Vee, he shares stuff all the time. So you can engage with him on his posts. So it brings the fantastical into reality. And I think any step you make, it does two things. It helps your mindset realize, like your subconscious realize this is achievable. But also you're taking the steps and you might need to talk to 5 agents or 10 agents or 100 agents. And maybe that just starts the process. And then like what happened with you 2 years later, you attracted the right agent to you. But probably that wouldn't have happened if you're like, oh, I can't find an agent, I'm not going to write the book. Because you actually spent time writing the book.
Well, now this is a really funny story. The agent came to me. A woman in my live group who had a goal to network more sat next to this agent at an event that they just started talking. Yep. And she told him about me and my group and my communities. So he reached out on LinkedIn, and we had so many people in common. I'm like, I know you. Why are you familiar?
Yeah.
I heard him speak like 8 years before at a workshop that I attended in the Valley. I don't go to the Valley that often. I'm in California. But,
totally.
Anybody who lives in or around LA know that usually, even when it's not weird times, you stay in your box.
Yeah.
And I went out to this workshop and he spoke on the second day. So we had that extra connection. But because we were on LinkedIn and I saw we had all these people in common, we're like, we know each other. Let's keep thinking. And we figured it out within the first conversation. And he said, what are you working on? And I said, I self-published 2 books. I'm about to self-publish a 3rd. What is it? Send me your book proposal. And I didn't have one. I mean, I had one for the last incarnation, but not for my new branding. And he's like, do you need a deadline? You're right, or you need a deadline. So it was like a week and a half later, revised it, sent it off. He called me like 2 hours later. When can we meet? Yeah. I mean, does this happen? Apparently.
Apparently it does. But I still think, you had to create the visual first. You had to create, you had to visualize it. You had to see it happening. You had to put everything into place. It didn't happen in 2018 like you expected it to, but you did. You materialized the perfect person who came to you through a friend.
It's eerie weird. But it's life. Yeah. I've been doing this since I moved to California in 2002, and I've been doing goal setting since before that.
It's so key.
But I really need it in the evolution of how I've been helping people is natural progression. But you know what they say about overnight successes? They take 10 years or so.
I'm one of those overnight successes. Exactly.
But what it took was this. I love this. This is my new favorite phrase, which is change happens. Yeah. It took change happening to me to say, okay, Deb, this is the perfect opportunity. This is what you love. This is where you need to go all in. And since I did that, the path has just been, it's just amazing. I know how
what's happening right now. Change is happening, right?
a change is happening, and you can either run from it, be afraid of it, hide, and maybe you need to hide for a little bit and regroup, because I don't want to downplay all the change that's going on right now. And I love your post that you mentioned when you were talking about this. You said, the first month you were in shock. Yeah. The second month you just kind of start to get out of it. Now it's like, okay, let's do something.
Right.
So when you are ready, embrace the change.
Yeah.
Say, okay, I need to do this. What can I do to make my life better? What can I do to make other people's lives better? Ooh, and look at it with excitement.
Right.
Because it is exciting.
Exactly. It really is. And I think one of the things for me right now, and I know we're running over, are you okay to go a couple more minutes? Because we have to get to the D, right?
Yes. No, the B. Yeah, we did D-E.
Yeah. D-E-B, the B.
Yes.
And now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh,
I'm sorry.
I can't remember. It doesn't matter. All right. Good. So, but you do have to have some excitement. I know that was what I was going to say. One of the problems, I'm really great in crisis, like car accidents, people hit by cars, falling off of horses, whatever it is. I'm great in the moment of crisis. Where I'm not so great is during ongoing crisis. And I think a lot of, we start binge watching Netflix or eating too much, of which I've done both. And we kind of lose touch with what's possible. We just kind of get into this malaise of bleh, especially since this has been protracted for like 90 days, right? So what do we, or I will say, having a goal and being able to internalize the excitement of that goal and being able to hold it in place as a shining beacon, might be the only thing that pulls us out some days, right? And so I think that the timing for having you on is absolutely perfect. Let's get to B. What is the B of the Deb Method?
I have to respond to what you said, and then I will say what the B is.
Okay.
The beacon is totally on. And it doesn't even have to be big. It could be something you do for a half an hour a week, an hour a week, a passion project. And that might just be enough light to get you motivated to do other things.
Nice.
So you see, I had to interrupt myself.
No, that's exactly right. No, that's perfect. I love that. I love that.
So you determine your mission. You know what you want, why you want it. You explored your options. You did all this research and you settled on, I want to do this. I want to write a book. I want to start a business. I want to start a podcast.
Uh-oh.
And then you go.
Keep going. My Facebook went off in the background. You're good.
Okay. So then you get to B, brainstorm your path.
Yeah.
You know your destination. Now you get to map it out.
Yeah.
And it really starts with writing out every single goal that you have. And we're talking little goals, big goals, dream goals, reach goals. Put on some easy ones because you always want to set yourself up for success. Yeah. So, and you want to do personal and professional goals because the professional goals help you personally. The personal goals help you professionally. And you want to sort of, again, brain dump everything.
Yes.
Divide it into personal and professional goals and then categorize it.
Yeah.
What are the things that you need to do for this? What action items, benchmarks lead to short-term goals and what short-term goals build up to the long-term goals? So once you have those categorized, then you can make your plan. You look at your week and how much time can you spend on this? And some people have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Some people just have a little bit of found time. Found time is great. 15 minutes a day, several days a week. Oh my goodness. Do you know how far you can get?
Exactly.
Just inching your way along.
Absolutely.
So you want to map out, and this is like, obviously it's much bigger than a 30-second. This is how you do it. Yeah, it's all in the book.
You got to buy the book, folks. Just buy the freaking book.
And then you've got some personal goals you also want to map out, but some of them are just lifestyle changes like we were talking about, half hour a week. And yes, all of this is in the book. The first half takes you through the Deb Method with exercises and examples. And the second half is just preparing for your road trip, car maintenance. I love this theme so much.
I love that.
And just getting you from point A to point B. And it even talks about I even talk about side day trips and you've got your motto. So when you're using your motto as your compass, if something comes up on the side, it will help you decide if you should take that journey or if you're better off staying on the road for the next thing.
Nice.
So it's filled with all sorts of good, practical, real people information. And I also have a Facebook group. I have a Facebook group for people reading the book, Your Goal Guide, to ask questions and share their progress. I have my regular Write On Online Facebook page for setting and reporting on goals. And then that group is for, I do a daily thread to keep people connected and motivated.
Yeah.
And I've got my Goal Chat Twitter chat and Goal Chat Live, which I do Mondays. And I think we've got the link to when you were a guest on mine a couple weeks ago, which was awesome. We had so much fun.
Excellent.
And the book is great. I also do coaching, and I was inspired by so I created a special promotion for June, because Jumpstart in June.
Nice.
Everybody needs to jumpstart your life. So if you go to thedebmethod.com/jumpstart, you can read about that and connect with me, because my goal is to help you lead a happy life. So help me reach my goal in helping you reach your goals.
All right. So give me that. I'm trying to get it in here so where people can see it. All right, here we go. There's the Deb Method right there. There we go. And let me pop into chat. Let me go into captions. So give me again, it's free download.
It is, if you go to thedebmethod.com/jumpstart.
Okay.
I'm doing a deal on my 1 hour coaching, like reboot your life.
Perfect. Sorry, I was trying to do two things at once, and I shouldn't do that. Discount on coaching here. All right. Then I have to spell coaching right. All right. Keep talking. Keep entertaining my crowd while I try to.
I'm more than happy to do that. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn, because remember all those connectors I was talking about? I'm definitely one of those people. If I don't know something, I know someone who knows it, or I know someone who knows someone who knows it. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Coast Bunny because that was my freelance name when I first moved to LA. I was one of those people. I moved to LA and this was my place. So that was my nickname. And when I did my first freelance site, I said, who wants a boring old name? I'm going to be coastbunny.com. So
not a porn star.
No, a freelance writer.
And we didn't even get into it because I wanted to jump in right away. But that's how we met. Was you were helping me, honestly, ghostwrite a couple articles for Social Media Examiner, and so you've helped me write too. And now I can't even believe how lucky I am, but we've managed to entice Debra to write profiles for us at Vengresso too. So she's one of our profile writers. So I know her writing style very well. She's great, but this is what excites me the most. Oh, you can't see me now, so that's fine. But that's what excites me the most is your goal guide, is your book, and I think it's so important right now because we're all. Okay. A lot of us feel like we're drowning, and the only thing that's going to pull us out, the only lifeline, is really setting up our future. And it might be our future 5 minutes from now. It might be our future 5 months from now. It might be our future 5 years from now. But if we don't start working towards it right now, it ain't going to happen. And we're only going to eat more, get fatter, and watch more Netflix, and maybe even like The Tiger King, which I refuse to watch. But instead of watching The Tiger King, that's what I'm going to tell you guys. Instead of watching The Tiger King, read this book instead. Oh, apparently I can't. Okay, the book is on air. I can't go back on air. Awesome. Okay, so that's all right, because what's important is Deb. And this is good for me to know about screen sharing. Thank you. Any last words you want to share with the audience? We probably should wrap it up.
Okay. Well, first, I just want to say, if you're on Facebook, join a Write On Online group, and after you've gotten the book, join your goal guide, or just order the book and I'll let you in. It's okay. But this way, if you have questions, and I have people who've been sharing their mission statements and their mottos as they go through the process, which is what the group is for. We need community, especially in this time. We need to connect with others, and I am blessed that I get to facilitate a lot of connections.
Exactly.
So, and in the Write On Facebook group, we had Toot Your Horn Thursday yesterday. Today is Photo Friday. It's a different thread each day, which encourages people to talk to each other and connect.
Yeah.
So if you need community, whether you love Facebook or Twitter, or just join me on LinkedIn as well, I'm happy to give you that push. And okay, final words of wisdom. You can do it. You are in control of this life. And if what you can do is just a little bit of time, great. If you want to dive in and completely reframe your life, you can do that too. We might be all still locked up and a little bit hesitant, but what you do have control of is what you create for yourself now.
Yeah.
Take your time, figure out what that is, make a plan. You can do it.
I love it. That is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. We're going to do it again because we're going to do it when we can get you on LinkedIn for the LinkedIn Live. People are on Facebook and Periscope going, wait a second, it's LinkedIn Live. This chick's talking about goals. I'm so confused right now. If you are so confused right now, it's because we couldn't get LinkedIn Live to work on LinkedIn right now. So we're going to have Deb back, but I hope you enjoyed her on Periscope and all the Facebooks and on YouTube. And yeah, just stay tuned to Deb, stay tuned to me, and we'll let you know when we're going to have her back on the show. In the meantime, I just want to thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. You are awesome in so many ways. Guys and gals, please buy her book. It's absolutely worth it. Oh yeah, and by the way, I wrote the foreword. So well, kind of. No, was it the foreword or was like
you were one of my first endorsers.
Endorser that, and I definitely took up the most space. I wrote the most endorsements.
Well, you did, because when you open it, it's right next to the cover page,
exactly.
So you can't miss Deb's endorsement. And I so appreciate you and your friendship and all of your words of praise, and thank you. And I get to work with you too now, so I mean, win-win-win.
It's just a chance for us to catch up.
This is how you and I use video.
Indeed.
To catch up and let the world listen.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much.
Awesome. All right, everybody. So same time, same place, hopefully next week. We'll see you there. And thank you for your time today. Really appreciate it, guys. And thank you, Debra, so much. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.